Uh-oh. I think I'm finally getting this to work. Goodness. Let me just fill out the information. I also need to go live on YouTube because I have been waiting for this to get cooking. Boom, let's see. Turn it around. All right, goodness. Good morning, y'all. It has been a morning. So, if you are not familiar with what's going on right now, I'm live on YouTube doing our plan with me. So, behind me, of course, we do a lot of goal planning here at Madam Green Grove, but I just want to make sure that I had you all up. I'm going to put this up here. Or if you have any questions about goal planning, hello. I'll be periodically looking up and down, and I'm now looking at my YouTube stream and it looks a little crazy. But if you have any questions about planning, about proper planning, if you have any questions about some of the things that we are working on, feel free to go ahead and drop your comments down in the chat. Goodness, it has been a morning, y'all. It has been a morning, but I'm here. I'm here for at least an hour. I'm double living it today. So I'm live here on Instagram. I'm live here on YouTube. I see myself, thank goodness. Thank you all for joining in. If you're here, popping in, popping out, I'm not going to tap the wave button. I'm just going to physically wave because the last time I did that, y'all got all my business. But hello, welcome again. I am here, Keisha from Madam Green Girl. I'll be doing our Plan With Me Q3 lives. So I'm looking back down YouTube, and just let me know if you have any questions. I'll periodically look up just to check in with you. What I am going to do is say, leave YouTube. I'm coming right to you. Leave your planning. Hello, good morning. We are here talking about planning for goals. So I'm just going to put that there and then pin it. Perfect. All right. YouTube, how y'all doing? I'm here. I'm Keisha from Madam Green Grow. I've got Instagram here, live right here. I'm going to be here for the next 30 to 45 minutes planning out Q3 with you all, planning out Madam Green Grow's Q3. So if you are not familiar with who Madam Green Grow is, I'm sure you all on the Instagram are. We are a woman of color and cannabis-based organization. We started in 2016. As you can see, we probably see our goals here. Our goal is to be the #1 resource for women of color who want to enter the cannabis industry, and that's what we're shooting for. I've just said that literally on tape, so I can't take it back, and I'm so excited to be able to push this mission along with my co-founder. So for our YouTube folks, I'm going to go ahead and run our pitch video that we submitted, which gives you a little bit of history of how we started and why we started. And then Instagram, I'm going to come and talk to you all, just a quick blip. But before I get those things going, what I want to also say is that I'll have Instagram up for about 20 minutes, and then I'm just going to fully focus on the YouTube live. So if you want to dive in, ask questions, get your questions answered, go ahead and leave your questions here, or join us over on YouTube where we're doing a little bit more of an in-depth planning. All right. So here we go with my YouTube folks. With support for legalization gaining steam, it was disheartening to hear that only 4% of businesses in the cannabis industry were owned by minorities and women of color. We plan to change that. Hi, I'm Jamia Hunter, and I'm Keisha Reed, and we're Madam Green Girl. Since 2016, a community-based organization dedicated to the education, promotion, and celebration of women of color in the cannabis industry. Each month, we shift the culture by centering the cannabis conversation around various topics like business and our community. We found that the need for education and resources for gaining access to this industry was the next step, and we are looking to impact and change the lives of women of color who just need the keys to jumpstart their journey. By expanding our education platform with live and virtual trainings centered around ownership and growth, $1,000 will be the catalyst and infrastructure we need to reach that goal.
Thank you for this opportunity.
right, all right. Oh, I did not notice my head was looking all crazy. We are back. I just explained to the Instagram folks what that looks like and what we're going to be discussing here today. So, Instagram, if you all have any questions about goal planning, about goal setting, about women of color in cannabis, go ahead and drop those there. We'll be live with you for the next about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and focus strictly on our YouTube community and talk a little bit more about planning and getting ready for quarter 3. So we're absolutely excited to talk about setting your goals for quarter 3 because goal setting is really, really important. Goal setting allows us to seek the life that we want to be and measure the steps to get there, right? I don't know anyone. I don't know if anyone here knows or if anyone down here knows, you know anyone who walks around and doesn't have a goal, they don't have a purpose. You really want to make sure that you have goals that are clear, that are set. And today we're going to talk a lot about why goal planning matters, what type of goals to set, and some of the tools that we use to really set those goals. So, Instagram folk, this is where I'm going to bid you goodbye. If you are interested in catching this, it will be on replay on our YouTube channel forever. So be sure to join us over here if you have any questions about the quarter. I'm going to go ahead and get into deep about what we're going to talk about here today on YouTube, but I hope you're able to join us for this upcoming planning session and any other lives or in-person meetings that we have going forward. So have a great Saturday, and we'll see you soon. All right, YouTube, back. So, talking about goal planning, there are a few things that you should really think about when it comes to goal planning. The first one is, why do you want these goals to be set? You want to understand that setting goals and setting metrics to be able to live the life that you necessarily want to live is important because no one walks through this world without setting those goals. Like I mentioned before, last week we did a series called the Secret Sauce series. I'm going to adjust this here so y'all can see these arms I've been working on for the last 6 months. But last week we did a Secret Sauce series where we talked about mindset, we talked about goal planning, we talked about people to have in your squad, we talked about making an impact in the cannabis industry beyond just consuming the plant or hashtag activism, as they say. But one that really stuck with us was setting those goals. Tying them back to the vision and tying them back to your why is really, really important. So I'm going to pause here because there's no need for me to rush. We're talking, we're friends here, it's all good. And I'm actually going to answer some questions that we've gotten over the last few months about goals, about starting, about defining your why, and I'll answer those throughout this video. So I hope you all are here, you're in, and you're ready for a treat. If you were able to catch the videos last week, thank you. But one of the goals that we talked about, or that I talked about, that we have set, was that we wanted to do more video. So this is me getting comfortable in front of the camera. I have a bit of a background in tech, but it's been a really long time since I've had to been able to be pushed into the live piece. But I'm truly excited because I know that this mission, this value that we're providing is important. And my co-founder, Jamia, will be on a live with me over the next couple of weeks so that we can talk a little bit more about Madam Green Grow. You can get familiar with who we are. You get to know who we are. You get to see what our worlds look like behind the camera or behind the Instagram lens. So, SMART goals. Talking about SMART goals, we talked about SMART goals last week. SMART goals, making sure they're specific, making sure they're measurable, make sure they're attainable, make sure that they're relatable, relevant, and timely, right? Relatable. I have my own little impact acronym, and I always get those mixed up. But SMART goals are really, really important. You have to be able to set a goal, track your goal, be able to measure that goal, and then relate it back to why you actually want to do it. So just a quick reminder, our SMART goal is to do more video strategy. And that leads into the question of, what's the ideal goal? What's our ideal dream? And when we think about that, it all goes down to how much work do you necessarily want to put in to achieve the goals that you want to achieve? And that's why planning and goal setting is important. So, first question we got was, what is your ideal workload? And ideally, like I said, it's all about how much you want to put into it. I follow a YouTuber, influencer, coach on YouTube. Her name is Stacey Flowers, and she posed a question that why does she necessarily have to become a millionaire working full time? She's able to show relevance, still show and put towards her mission, just working part time. And I think that's very admirable because all our lives we've been force fed, work until you're 40, do this, do that, and you'll get this. But now, buy the house, get the car, get the kids, get the wife, get the husband, and you'll be set. We don't live in those times anymore. So it was very, I think for me, exciting to see someone who was out breaking the mold, because sometimes when you're pushing towards a journey of entrepreneurship or you're pushing towards a journey of freedom, you get a little bit stalled in what you want. So I realized that, Madam Green Girl is just one hat that I wear. I wear another hat in the cannabis industry. And I didn't necessarily want to burn out and work full time in both of those pieces. So that's where these magical papers and post-its, I do a lot of mind mapping. Those are the tools that help me stay on track and identify that I don't necessarily want to work full time for this. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to talk and inspire and be an example for women of color, like someone was an example for me. So think about that as you're setting your goals. One of the ways that I'm able to break down my larger goal, which is to we'll think of one of our larger goals is to be able to promote women of color in cannabis, breaking that down into video strategies. So I'll show you exactly how we track, or how I track my time on a day-to-day. So I am going to flip to this. This is just the YouTube streaming that you can see. But I use a tool called the Pomodoro Tracker. So what this allows me to do is track my time in increments of 25. So one of the methods behind the Pomodoro technique is that the ticking clock that we sometimes hear, old school clocks used to tick. I'm not sure new school clocks tick anymore, but it allows you to really push towards your deadline because, that ticking sound is intense. So this method allows you to really set your goals, break them down, in 20, they say in 25 minutes, you're able to, people underestimate how much work they get done in an hour. So breaking it down into 25-minute increments, just like this. This is a webinar. This is just a few that I have, projects that, we have set up. Working 25 minutes on with this particular tool. And this also is available. I mean, you can Google Pomodoro Tracker and see how many apps and methods all actually do this. So just to show you just a description of how I load mine, they recently updated it yesterday. So I saw that I had to, and I could have just easily cleared the list. I saw that I was able to do that. So got a few things, how they're set up. MCCP is one of the other organizations. Madam Greengrow, PW is a project that I'm working on, personal and work. When you set up the Pomodoro Tracker, this is how it actually just starts with personal or work, and then you set your different categories. I'm going to set a personal category. Every morning, I take 30 minutes to have time with God. So I call this time elevation. And I sit for 25 minutes. That's already on my list. So after that, I'm ready to go. You can either continue with personal, or I'll do work and set my to-dos. I cheat a little bit. I kind of put a lot of my tasks in. So I set my to-dos. I check my email, and I review notifications. That's it. So those are my two tasks. Technically, those are my two tasks for the 11 o'clock hour, right? So one thing to notice is, you see right here that 11:27. If I were to start this timer right now, actually the clock that I'm looking at is a bit fast. It already says that it's 11:02, but just bear with me. You'll see the time difference. So 25 minutes from now, based on the clock that I have set, it's 11:02. Yes, 11:02. So for 25 minutes, I'll be working on this task. I can either hit the space bar or pause this task. Say I need to run to the bathroom, I need to answer a phone call. Basically, for 25 minutes, you want to be focused on exactly the task that you have set. Here's one thing I also want to show you. When you set your to-dos or your task for the day, as you put them in, so for the next one, I'll say MGG, and we'll be doing a few different master classes over the next year. So 2019 finish, setup, graphics, promotion. It's just how my brain kind of thinks. So you see, I'm going to keep this going here, but I already have this task going. And see what happens when I enter it in. It automatically jumps as to the first task. But I don't necessarily want to focus on my master classes right now. I want to focus on my word. I want to focus on journaling. I want to focus on, connecting with God and my higher self to be able to see what I have planned for the day. So, talk about me and God, we're cool. We have a really good relationship. So, once this is actually done, this particular task, we're going to assume we're just going to let that roll through. If it were to roll through, there is a 5-minute break in between. So as we're talking, I'm going to leave this on. I'll turn my volume up a little bit so that I can hear the ding and you'll be able to see the break. So for the next 24 minutes, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to actually set up to goal plan, right? We're going to plan quarter 3. So this is the Pomodoro tracker, just as a friendly reminder. Pomodoro is a method. You can use that. You can use a kitchen timer. You can use the microwave timer. You can use your phone timer. Any particular timer to set the goal of 25 on, 5 off. Once you've done 4 Pomodoro sprints or stretches or tasks, you get a 15-minute break. So you get the 5-minute breaks in between. So 25, 5, 25, 5, 14. That's time to, review the things that you've done, have a little bit of lunch, stretch your legs, breathe. That's how I've gotten things done over the years, and it's been pretty successful. So I encourage you to check out the Pomodoro technique. Next, we're going to, as we got this timer going in the background, we're going to talk about the second tool, which is called Milanote. So I actually got awareness about this particular tool because of a friend of mine. So I'm going to flip it over there. And so Milanote, I'll show you the front page. Hopefully they give me the front page. Milanote is actually a really great tool. It allows you to organize your ideas and projects basically visually. Now, a lot of us may remember the Pinterest boom, but one of the things that makes Milanote really, really great is that you're also able to add your different text. They now have a really cool mobile app that you can upload pictures to, really do some great things. You can see everything on the go, whether you're on a desktop or a laptop, whether you're on a desktop or a laptop. It also has templates just in case you want to, see different ideas and ways to plan your projects or plan your quarter. So Milanote is really great. And that is just how you spell it, Milanote. So we're going to log in to the one that I have set up. So with a free account, I'm not enabling desktop notifications. Does anyone, I'm just going to quick back. Does anyone else not enable desktop notifications? Because they're a bit annoying. They are very annoying. And I, for one, I just don't have the time. So I'm going to quickly click there. One thing I am going to do is pull up my YouTube on my phone. Excuse me, y'all. There we go. So I'm going to click out of here because I don't feel like dealing with that. But so you see, I've got 2 boards. I'm currently on the free plan. You get how many? 100 free notes, images, and links with no time limit. If you pay $9.99 a month, you get these particular options. I, for one, I am trying to save up to buy a home, so I do not necessarily need to subscribe to any more subscriptions or anything like that. So that's just the pay on breakdown, or the breakdown on pay. So we're going to go ahead and these are the 2. So if you're familiar, if you're in Maryland and you're interested in learning more about the cannabis industry, go ahead and, check out the Maryland Cannabis Community Partnership. So we're just going to click on Madam Greengrow. Y'all going to get all in the business. But this is how I've got our board laid out based on our different campaigns, our community. I've got the money goals here based on some of the things that we're working on. And I've got our quarterly planning right here. So what I'm going to do is click on quarter 3. And this is how we have this board set up. So I am going to leave this goal up here because that is actually one of the things that we plan on doing. But I'm going to change this up because I want to I'm going to walk through just a little bit of how I plan. Before that, I'm going to answer another question here. And the question is, how often should you review your goals? And just to kind of flip back and say, you really should review your goals often. You really should just make sure that you have them in front of you because, for example, say I wanted to speak more. I wanted to speak more on the circuit, talk more about women of color and cannabis, and really push the objectives and some of the things that is needed. I really want to make sure that I'm not giving y'all this live dashboard behind. Oh, no, I'm not. I am just looking at something. Sorry. I've got that goal set, and say I set it in January. I'll never know if it was fully actualized or if I'm putting the energy that I need to, if I, one, haven't broken it down from a bigger goal to monthly goal to weekly goals. We can talk about that at another time. Right now, we're just talking about the quarter. But, being able to review those things early and often will allow me to pick up steam where need be or abandon ship if I'm going in the wrong direction. So I'm going to hop back on to Milanote. Let's do this here. And I'm going to go here live on this. So one of the goals that we have for quarter 3 is to kick off our summer social series. Right? This summer, we want to be able to do 3 different types of social events where we are live and in front of our, I'm just going to clear all these out here. live in front of the audience that we serve. So we already got one planned. So how I've set it up here is I've got the larger project here. So that's the goal that I'm trying to set. And then I break it down by 3 tasks. And then, or I call them, I identify them as projects, but they're identified in this as tasks. So I'm going to say our summer social series, we have July, which will be wellness. We've got August, which is going to be food-based. And then we have September, which is going to be, y'all, September is one of the words that I always have trouble with. September, which is going to be, I need to make sure I have this going. September, sorry y'all. September is going to be our networking party type of event, right? So really quick, I am going to come back here just to make sure I am still Gucci on this side. But so yeah, that's basically how I break down the bigger goal into a smaller goal. And the smaller goal allows me to then task out into actual actionable tasks, so to speak. So I've got the bigger project. I got the goal broken down into projects, and then I task it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I do that on this board. You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? Let's go. So move this. Oh, one of the great things of Milanote is we can move this stuff over. So I'm going to delete these. Actually are boards inside of projects. One of the great things that you can do with Milanote. And so you see what I just did? I have a board, which I probably should have started off showing you all how to do this, but I hope that you all dig into Milanote and really get some of the meat. But starting with boards, the current board that we're on is the Q3 board, and say for instance I wanted to have a bigger board about I'll delete this actually. I wanted to have a bigger board about drag me, haha, our social events. I can head over to the left. You saw what I just did. Created a board for that. There's a cute little icon. There are also different other types or items you can have. There's notes, big, just drag and drop. I'm gonna put stay on task. So that can be, these can be quotes. It can be affirmations you can put here just to kind of keep yourself going. And of course you can edit the font and text to do different things. Lists are really great. If you want to create a list inside of a note, you can do that. But those are just some of the really cool and great things that you can do with Milanote. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a quicker way to trash that. And put this board, I'm going to trash that as well, but I just wanted to kind of show you what was going on. This is the summer social series. So say I wanted to break these out into tasks, I would put a cute little to-do here. Oh, this actually made it turn into a to-do. Sorry about that. I did not want that to, oh, it's already a to-do. Okay, sorry. So just so I don't confuse myself, I'm going to make a note to the side, and I'm going to say July wellness. And it's actually wellness and networking. So our July social event we have planned is a part of our link up series, which is what our social series is called. And basically it will be an opportunity, y'all, for coloring cannabis to connect about life and wellness in summer. All right, right? So, and that's a dictionary because that's how you spell it. If I wanted to task this out, I could just change up the note. Typically, I like to start off when I'm doing different projects and goals. Um, this is usually the intention note or description as to why, because I really want to make sure that I keep the why in mind. Um, and from there, I can just say needs, and my needs could be a blanket, food lists, because I already actually have the graphic made. But I can put graphic. I could put email header for our email newsletter, so it could be a particular graphic for that. Just really laying out some of the things that I need for July, and I can create the exact same thing for August, the exact same thing for September, and moving forward. This is actually information that was copied from the Q2 board. So that's another really cool thing that you can do. So I'm going to actually go back and show you Q2. And this is what Q2 looked like very similar. And you know, that's one of the great things about Milanote is you don't necessarily have to recreate the wheel per se. So this is my Q3, and one of the things that I really want to make sure that I focus on for Q3 is the intention of connecting with the community. So when I set goals, and when we review the goals before the quarter begins, we just make sure that it also aligns with our larger goal. So checking back in with the timer, you can see we still got 9 minutes going. I am going to check the live here and see if there are any questions. But one of the things I will do is answer a question that we have set here. Let me drink a little water. So, how often should you track your goals? Was the question. I'm looking at my notes here, y'all. Just to kind of show you how the brain works. So I write down the notes here. Another thing is, as you can see, I live by Post-its. But another way that I kind of track the goals is by using mind mapping software. And I actually learned about this particular program through a coach that I follow. And she had a really great way of describing what mind mapping is and why mind mapping works for individuals like me. I'm a very visual, but still auditoriable. Is that the word? You know, with your ears. I hear and visually get information. That's how I consume the information. Works for me. Some people actually have to do it. I have to hear it and I have to see it. So mind mapping was something that I learned back in the day. Those Venn diagrams that we did in school with the good, bad, and who works in the middle type of deal. It just was something that I never thought I'd use. And now, 15 years later, I'm still using tools like that. So the name of the program that I'll be demoing next for talking a bit about mind mapping or setting your goals as we plan for Q3 is called Coggle. So I'm going to switch over to that here. And so Coggle also is a free application that you can use, but I want to show you their payment plans really quickly. So you've got the $0 plan, which we are on. It gives you 3 private diagrams, unlimited public ones, real-time collaborations, beautiful icons, all the different things. You can export it. I mean, these are really cool tools. I think for me right now, and for where we are in our stage in business, the Coggle free version is perfect. And once again, try to buy a house. Can't be spending all of your money on the subscriptions. You already got to pay, think about it. Who are you paying? That's another thing when building businesses and planning for goals. You always got to keep that money in front of you. If you're paying for Hulu, Netflix, Spotify, Tidal, Dropbox, YouTube Red, all of these different things, you got to kind of narrow it down. You got to be able to have money to invest in your business and pour into others. So that's why I'm not, I just can't. I already have, a monthly subscription limit that I hit. Patreon, come on, y'all. Come on. Coggle. So, as you can see, we've got 3 public boards. This is actually the board that got me into this. Was the coach Letitia Styles. Okay, just want to make sure y'all can see. So yeah, Letitia Styles. She talks a little bit about how to create the automated sales funnel, and I actually loved this webinar. A lot of the things that she models on, I've incorporated it into Madam Green Grow and the partnership. So she's really dope. Check her out. She's a woman of color. Always like to support women of color. So just to hit back, I'll show you. Actually, let's start a new one. Now, let's see if it'll let me do it with, I've got 2 out of 3, so it should be able to do it. So we're going to hit create diagram, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to plan in the next, let's check this. Let's do a time check. We're at 11:15. So in the next 10 minutes, we're going to actually plan out our masterclass series for 2019. Masterclasses. Because education is really, really important, right? I'm going to go ahead, sip some water. I'm going to look and see if you all have any questions real quick with this live dashboard here. Y'all about to get all the business. Nothing there. All right. Ooh, okay. So earlier in 2019, we did a few master classes, and they went really, really well. Did a webinar that went really well. So one of the things that you learn when goal setting is staying consistent, right? And what better way to stay consistent than to set your goals live on YouTube and plan them out with your community. So I am looking for my handy dandy sheet that I've planned here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the webinar series. This webinar series that we have planned. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and start and say topics, right? And so I got this one. Bear with me, y'all. I thought I had the paper. Oh, you know what? It might be. See, this is another thing that hopefully we can talk about as a community. When you have so many papers and everything is in different places, I am a notebook. I write in everything. So, of course, I grabbed the wrong pad for topics. Let's see. Did I grab the wrong one? All right. Okay. Still off the top of the dome. First topic. Actually, I'm going to bend that down so you know what this is about. It's actually going to be you and cannabis. So from there's also these really cool hotkeys on the side that allow you to create off of the one that you already created. So I'm going to hit tab, and that's going to be another child item. If I want to do another item, shift enter, you see the arrow, the plus sign turns into an arrow. And it allows me to, oh, I'm hitting Shift Tab, sorry. Shift Enter. See? That breaks off from there. And say I wanted to do it, oh, that's another piece. This is live and in action. So the awesome plan allows me to adjust the different paths of the connections, get different shapes and stuff like that. But since I don't have that plan, I'm just going to keep branching off. So you in cannabis, we're going to talk about wellness and uses. We're going to talk about in come on y'all, environment and sustainability. I know those are both incorrect, but we're gonna rock with it. We're gonna rock with it. So, and then we're gonna do a new child item. This one. That is not what I wanted to do here. I wanted to remove it. I'm going to hit Alt. Click. Yes. That brings me back there. Goodness. Just in time, because I was struggling with this particular mind map. But I'm going to show you, this is what the break looks like. So when you're done your task, the Pomodoro timer tells you to go ahead and take a short break. I too think that this is a good time to insert our last question, which rounded up with the individual who sent in. Her question was, how do you validate your SMART goals? How do you validate your SMART goals? And so I would say make sure that you validate your SMART goals by setting the your goal always back to the why, right? You have to remember why you started, because if you don't know why you started, you don't necessarily know where you're going. One of the things that I realized about a year ago was that a lot of the things that I was really interested in, I necessarily wasn't interested into them because of what they gave me back as a person. I was more so interested in them because so and so was already doing something very similar, and I was trying to model a lot of that off of them. And I had to realize that I'm my own person, and I'm sharing this information with you because these are clear, transparent moments. I want you to think about the goals that you have set and remember why you set them. So, in moments of, I'm not sure if I'm prepared to do this, or I'm too XYZ, or so and so doesn't believe in the product that I've been workshopping for the last 10 years. At the end of the day, none of that matters if you know exactly why you're in it in the first place. That goes back to your goals. Setting your goals, making sure that your goals are important. Let's see something here. Making sure that your goals are important and understanding that, at the end of the day, you are responsible for your success. You're the only person that can do what you're supposed to do. So, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're at the 52-minute mark, but I just wanted to run back over the 3 tools that you should really use for your quarterly planning. The first tool is the Pomodoro tracker. That's actually one that I'm just going to switch over to here, and you can see it. Boom, right there. Remember, 25 on, 5 off, getting your goals in place. One other feature I wanted to show you about that while this timer is still going is that you can see I've got a lot of stuff set. So if I wanted to put the goals, the activities I have set already, I just, oh wait a minute, they changed it. Before you could just tap it and it'll add to, but just tap those three dots, you're added there, your to-do list was updated. So Partnership Foundation. Second tool was the Milanote, your visual vision board for getting your butt in gear, setting your goals, seeing the things that you have planned. You can add pictures, you can add different options, different columns, comments, things that really you could just make it your own. And the templates, that was one thing I didn't show you. The templates are pretty cool based on what you're looking for. So if you're trying to hire someone, drag them there. My workspace is almost filled up, but I just wanted to show you what a template looks like. All of these are already, I mean, they're populated. So if you're looking to hire someone, it's already there. And then the last one is Coggle. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I delete that because I got space. Is Coggle. So really being able to mind map, sorry, I didn't really get too deep into it, but really being able to mind map, show you my goals, and see exactly some of the things that you have going. So these are the things that I have set for myself, personal health goals. There's the end of that Pomodoro timer. It's letting you know you can get started on the next one. But I'll wrap up just with this. Some of the things that I have planned and how I have them stretched out. I actually printed this out. It's sitting on my wall. It allows me to be able to refer back to those things often because I need to keep my goals in front of me. I need to be able to reference them during those hard times. So I encourage you, however you like to take your notes down, whether they be through Post-its, this is for the thumbnail, whether they be through Post-its or traditional paper, or calendars, or task lists that you highlight based on different colors. Whether it's digital, whether it's analog, make sure that you track your goals. Make sure you have them ready and in front of you often, because that is the only way that you will be set up for success. Straight like that. You don't have it, you're never going to have it. So I encourage you to do that. If you have any questions about the tools or the strategy or some of the things that we have going on, what Madam Green Girl has going on, what the partnership or what I'm working on in the Maryland industry has going on, feel free to send us an email at hi@madamgreengrow, and I'll be sure to pass it along where need be, whether it's for work that I'm doing, whether it's for the work that Jamia is doing, whether it's about a garden club, maybe it's about whatever. You want to get into the industry, shoot us an email. We'll be happy to help. All right, I'm done pushing through that video goal, y'all. I know, you see my arm? I'm just so excited for that. I've got another live to hop on, so I'm going to grab something to eat and prepare for that. So if you see me on that one, that'll be on Instagram though, so that'll be a little different. I did it, y'all.